What's good, family? Obviously, big love to my general, Gaz James, for coming through and sponsoring your man's the YB and his dire coin situation once again. Any other dons out there who want to join the platoon, receive exclusive leaked proprietary content, check out the join button, membership page, no doubt. Now, moving on to today's explosive topic. What do we know? Well, Team Fury, Emmanuel Steward's nephew, Sugar Hill, have come through and doubled down on offering, or trying to offer, Anthony Mandela Gandhi Joshua, formerly known as Anthony the Landlord Joshua, help for his the dire situation he finds himself in. Yeah, check this out. Sugar Hill was recorded on the recent TalkSport platform, and he said the following: Tyson Fury's trainer, Sugar Hill Steward, has doubled down on their offer to help prepare Mr. Mandela Gandhi Joshua for his rematch with Alexander Usyk. Sugar Hill said the following. Sugar Hill told TalkSport the following: We are 100% serious about helping Mr. Mandela Gandhi Joshua in camp. We want to help him defeat Usyk for a start, because we want to see Fury against Mandela Gandhi. And so do all the fans of the boxing world. It is not a ruse or a joke for us to want to train him. We would happily help Joshua because he is capable of beating Usyk in the rematch. And this is nothing new. In the old days, all boxers travelled to different gyms for assistance. This is a sport, and we have to think of it as a sport. Never forget that when heavyweight boxing is strong, the whole of boxing is strong. The biggest fight in the sport is Fury versus Joshua, aka Mr. Mandela Gandhi Joshua. And we all know what that would do for the sport with two of them fighting for the undisputed crown. It couldn't be bigger. Boom. So we just heard there from your man's Sugar Hill Steward. Now, what can I say? Listen, I mean, I don't want to start this as a Debbie Downer, but the facts are, people, for anyone waiting for the bottom line here, bottom line is, AJ ain't going nowhere. He loves his daddy, Rob McCrappen. He already told you, yeah? He said, Rob, the gaffer, Sir Alex Ferguson looking ass, wannabe, fake looking ass, Sir Alex Ferguson, knockoff Sir Alex Ferguson, moody Sir Alex Ferguson wannabe. Yeah, listen, Rob McCrappen, you're not even a knockoff Sir Alex Ferguson. You're a fake knockoff. Yeah? You're them ones there, like, for example, there was a time your man the YB was selling some moody gear, yeah? And but you have to remember that there's different levels to moody. You've got the high quality moody, then you've got the moody, the lazy moody, the cheap moody. Yeah, your man McCrappen is a cheap, moody Gucci belt, 100% cheap, the cheap ones. Yeah, this McCrappen ain't no AA plus. McCrappen's the cheap, moody one. Yeah, the Gumtree one. That's the one McCrappen is, 100%. He ain't even the eBay one. You the Gumtree. Yeah, or Facebook looking ass, Facebook Marketplace looking ass. That's what you are. Anyway, let's get back to this. Like I said, bottom line is he ain't going nowhere. He loves his daddy. His daddy, his Findom daddy, his cook daddy, Rob McCrappen, got him where he wants him. Yeah? And the worst thing is, I even had one goofazoid on my channel when I said that there's no examples of high-level sports people being trained by part-time athletes. Some goofy said, oh, YB, YB, I can't believe you think this. You're so stupid. Look, Elon Musk manages 3 companies, and Jack Dorsey, he manages 2 companies. Listen, CEOs. And this is the problem. A lot of you dons. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm in the basement, but a lot of you dons have never had no corporate experience. Your man, the YB, had all the corporate experience. Yeah, and what you don't understand is because you've been in the basement, you don't know. You ain't never experienced. Again, the corporate experience, meaning that if any of you goofies had actually been in a corporation before, you'd know that the CEO don't do dick all day. All they do is sit there and give orders out. I've never seen a CEO look stressed, ever. They're getting paid a whole bag of money, and all they do is dish orders out. And everyone in that company is running around all day trying to rub them off. So don't give me that rubbish. Elon Musk, every day, all day, people are worried about his opinion. Does that make sense? Yeah? It's a fact. Everyone, in every company, yeah, everyone is wary and running around to please the CEO. So is it really a shock that a man who literally employs 20,000 people to do his bidding for him can do 3 different jobs? Listen, I can hand out 3 different orders as well. It's not that hard, yeah? Handing out orders ain't the same as being in the trenches and getting something done. And besides, even if that was the argument, guess what? Elon Musk, arguably or provably, is actually smart. Rob McCrappen ain't smart. Oops. And that's what I've always said. I wouldn't have as much as a problem. Yes, integrity-wise, AJ would still be getting cucked. But if Rob McCrappen was getting the work in and able to do both, well, fair play to him. If AJ was in there like he should be, like a machine, what could I would, to be honest, I may have thought about Rob McCrappen being useless, but I wouldn't have vocalised it, because what's there to talk about? That's just nitpicking. I'm not a nitpicking looking ass. I call the facts, yeah? And you suck, because AJ sucks right now. Oh, IB, I can't believe you've turncoated on Joshua. Listen, AJ needs some turncoat dons around him, because all he's got around him is backslappers. You've heard them. Brilliant. Amazing. Run around some more. Light on the feet. Stay behind the job. He don't need no more rubber offers. Got plenty of them. Skins. His whole team of rubber offers. Because guess what? If he had anyone in his team like the YB, McCrappen would have been done gone. Why are they all sitting around? Yeah, madness. I mean, again, AJ's own management team put a message out saying, "Oh, team, it's all about teamwork, and we love Rob. Rob is the best in the game." How many people have we heard talk about how Rob is the best in the game when he's taken one of the best athletes and turned him into a useless dude who gets smoked by anyone who's decent? Anyone, if you're in your prime, if you're near your prime and have a bit of ambition, you beat AJ. Yeah? Because Povetkin old, Pulev old. Oops. Ruiz whooped him. Usyk whooped him. Klitschko old. Oops. Yeah? Let's talk the facts here. If you ain't old, you get whooped. AJ whoops you. That I'm telling you now. That's where the statistics are pointing right now. If you're young and ambitious, you whoop AJ. The first time at least. That's the facts. Call me a liar. Yeah? Call me a liar. Since bear in mind as well, Rob McCrappen took over in December 2016. So literally, AJ was a wrecking machine. Rob McCrappen takes over and he goes life and death with Klitschko. Oops. 2 years later, gets smoked by Ruiz. 2 years later, gets smoked by a cruiserweight. I mean, what? If this isn't an indictment on his crap training, I don't know what is. Again, he ain't got no cardio. How many years have I been saying, AJ, you need to bring me in, if nothing else, to fix your cardio. Your team don't know what they're doing. I told you before, unlike anyone in your team, I'll work on a no-win, no-fee basis. How about that? Which one of your team are prepared to work on a no-win, no-fee basis? Oops. Yeah? Because that's true belief. How Rob McCrappen, how good are you really then? Yeah? In fact, scrap all that. I'll work on a no KO, no pay basis, because I believe AJ train with the YB would knock everyone out. That's what I believe. And I stand by it. If AJ ain't knocking them out, what do I need to be paid for? What do I need to be paid for when you got the best athlete and he ain't knocking people out? These guys are bums. Yeah? Mr. Booby's on his back. You got Wilder, useless. If you ain't knocking these guys out, what do you need to be paid for as a trainer? So if they ain't holding themselves to that level of standard, what are they doing? Because Ron McCraven, he happy to go in there and you get whooped and get paid. Oops. Anyway, I know I've digressed, but listen, let's get back to the point. The point is, Sugar Hill is begging right now. Begging to help AJ. Now, again, AJ ain't going nowhere because he loves his daddy. Yeah, he's made that quite clear. If Rob wants a job, if Rob, as my daddy, wants a job, he can have it. So that's already clear. He ain't going nowhere. Yeah, AJ basically saying, Rob, if you want a free $5 million a year, you can have it. Well, who can turn that down? He's already proven his integrity is zero when he decided to have 2 jobs, when he allowed you to bring Fernando Alonso and Jobber Clayton in. Because any man with integrity would say, even Ben Davidson, even a 2021 Instagram fruity, has enough integrity to say, no, Tyson, I'm not going to be cucked with Sugar Hill. Oh, not Rob. Rob's will accept 10 trainers, because why not? He's getting paid 10%. And he don't have no integrity. You are a big, AJ, you are a big juicy cow to him, and he milking you right now. Milking you all the way. And by the way, anyone out there who thinks Ron McCrappen's a good trainer, you are low IQ. That's a fact. Dillian White, low IQ. Tony Bellend, low IQ. Carl Froch, low IQ. I mean, Carl Froch, look at your skills. How can you sit there and say Ron McCrappen's a great trainer when you ain't got no skills? Wow, you're dopey. But again, we can't be mad at this because these guys never profess to be high IQ people. So what am I supposed to do? It is what it is. But that's why people like Floyd Mayweather said, listen, Floyd Mayweather said, I employ high IQ people around me to do my bidding for me. Yeah, he got that. Fair play to him. Floyd Mayweather was smart enough to know that. AJ ain't smart enough to know it. AJ got a bunch of low IQ bums around him. It's a fact. He ain't smart enough to make the, oh yeah, let me bring the YB in. 200 IQ, 100%. No doubt. Anyway, back to the Sugar Hill thing. Where was I? Should AJ bring Sugar Hill in? Absolutely. There's no doubt about it. Absolutely no doubt about it. Sugar Hill right now is the best guy for AJ's camp. 100%. Outside of Shane McGuigan. But even, you know what? Either or for me. Shane or Sugar Hill. Because Sugar Hill's proven he can take Tyson Fury, who, by the way, Tyson Fury does have, or has proven so far, he does have a much stronger resolve and mentality than AJ. AJ has not yet shown he has a fighter's mentality. Not in the last 5 years anyway. And I go based on the last few years. It's now 5 years since AJ showed any real oomph. So I'm sorry, people. Oh, I'd be your return code. No, I'm going based. I've always told you, it's the problem with you, man. You man never understood it. I always told you, I go based on the facts. Now, in the last 2 years, the facts have been on AJ's side. I.e., AJ wanted Fury. I.e., AJ was fighting the best. But now the facts are, AJ has been cucked by Ron McCrappen, and he can't see it, and he happy fighting all floppy, with no aggression and no heart in him. That's the facts. If you look at that last performance and tell me why be your lie, that performance was full of heart, full of effort, then I don't know what to tell you. Apart from you are also low IQ. Yeah? Heart isn't shown in anything else but performance. You can't talk heart. You show it. And AJ ain't showed no heart in a while. It's been a long looking ass time. Because even when he fought Pulev, he was flapping. That wasn't a heart-filled performance. I told you what AJ... If AJ was training with a YB, I told you what would have happened. We'd have gone in there with Pulev, hands by our waist, and just walked forward. And just wade all over him. You know, hands down. Naz style. That's what happened. 100%. Because AJ trained the... Listen, the YB would get so deep in AJ's head. The shots would bounce off. Yeah? I'll tell you what... I've told you before what I'm going to do. Yeah? We're going to... 100%. What's that don called? There was a don, yeah, from... It was African warlord. His name was General Butt Naked. Yeah? And he told all of his soldiers, we go into the battlefield with no clothes on. Yeah? Because when we have no clothes... We're bulletproof. Yeah, and that's why, and the reason he believed he's bulletproof is because people would see, or his enemies would see him and his squadron naked, and they'd think they was crazy or possessed, and therefore they get shook. So it gave his squadron allegedly some sort of advantage. Now, what I'm saying is, that's the kind of mentality you got to have. And bear in mind, people, these dons was doing that butt naked with actual guns. Literally, bullets was flying. But still, psychologically, they was able to get into that mindset of going in there with your life, literally. Now, we haven't got to do that much. You've only got to apply that kind of mindset, yeah, to a boxing fight. A nice, regulated boxing fight. So don't tell me it can't be done. If people can get in there with bullets flying butt naked, you can get in the ring butt naked. Essentially. Listen, you need to go in there with a butt naked mentality. Especially with 40-year-old bums like Pulev. You should have been in there and psychologically, you should have been worked where any shot from Pulev touches you, it bounces off. Because I'm telling you now, in fact, I told you beforehand, I don't believe any shot from Pulev can do nothing with AJ training the right way. That's my belief. I believe that. Does Rob McCrappen believe it? Mr. Stay Behind the Jab and back end flapping? He don't believe it. That's why AJ flapping. Got no belief. His team, I've been saying it for years. AJ's team don't have no belief. And that's why he fight with no belief. Oops. And people want to call me a hater. No. I talk the facts. I'm a believer. I'm not a believer in flappiness though. Oh, YB, you know, mate. Yeah, you don't appreciate the sweet science and you just love rock'em sock'em. Oh, what? And you love this? You love your man's getting his wig pushed back by a cruiserweight. You love your man's rocking and rolling on the ropes for dear life. Begging for Eddie Hearn to step in and bail him out 10 seconds to go. Is that what it is? Wow, is that the sweet science? Oh, you know, I didn't want to be rock'em sock'em no more. I didn't want to be 1986 Mike Tyson anymore. I wanted to be Flapper. Wow. You aspired to be a flapper with Fernando Alonso and Jobber Clayton. Yeah, well, you see, Jobber Clayton, he has this magical style from the 70s. Jobber Clayton's a bum. Because whatever magical style you think he got, you suck AJ right now. Yeah? About magical style from the 70s. There's nothing 70s or magical about a cruiserweight having you rocking and rolling. There's nothing 70s and magical about you clinging on for dear life against a cruiserweight. What's wrong with you? Fix up. Yeah? Whatever next magic they got going on in your head, you need to snap out of it right now. But anyway, where was I? Back to the Sugar Hill thing. Yeah, Sugar Hill, right now, would be the best thing for AJ. No doubt about it, because Sugar Hill has proven he can go in there with a man who isn't the most ferocious and get in there. And at least then we know, because for me, I'm not saying it's all about the trainer. I agree. For me, it's 50% trainer and 50% AJ. The trainer is only half of it. The trainer can get AJ into a certain mentality, but he still has to pull the trigger himself. Because I'm sorry, I'm not convinced. Yes, the training sucks. Yes, AJ's training is 0 out of 10. But still, even with 0 out of 10 training, you should know, okay, I've been hit. You should still have that oomph, if that makes sense. You shouldn't need, even if your training isn't as aggressive, you shouldn't need someone to tell you to get on it, if that makes sense. AJ was in there 12 rounds with Usyk, and you can't tell me, but you know, why didn't he flick the switch, if that makes sense? So like I said, yes, the trainer and training is half the problem, but the other half is, and we're going to find out who AJ is in this rematch. Right now, the jury's out. Anyone who tells you differently isn't going with the facts. The facts are, we don't know. This is going to be the time we see. Now, to be fair to AJ's talked a half-decent game. He's talked about, I'm going in there, 1980s, Frank. I'm going in there, 1980s, Frank. I forgot the guy. I'm going in there, American Gangster style. I'm going in there with this, that, the other. He's talked it now. So now, there's no excuses. But the reason I'm giving you man caution is the fact that, guess what? I exposed it. Before the Usyk fight, the reason the YB's coins went up in smoke is because before this fight, I wasn't sure. I've been saying for years, AJ and his team, they're moist right now. They're soft. I've been exposing it. Rob McCrappen is too crap. He rubs off on everyone in a bad way. Yeah? His crapness spreads like a disease, like a cancer. No doubt. I've been saying that. The documents are there. The evidence is there. Now the reason I bring that up is to say that, guess what? A day before the fight, AJ came out and said, I'm going Kronk style. It's going to be knockouts. And that's what got me gassed and thought, yeah, man, well, I wasn't convinced, but he said it now. Because guess what? For years, people have told me, oh, YB, AJ isn't a liar. AJ, he's true to his word. Oops. He said before the fight it was knockouts and KOs. So I'm struggling now. The reason I'm telling you now it's 50-50, and it's not all to do with the trainer, is the fact that he knew. He said. In fact, in the weigh-in, he said, fans, what do you want? Knockouts. Yeah, I'm going to give it to you. That's what the fans want to see. So I'm struggling to understand that. You say Kronk, you say knockouts, but then you go in there and you're floppy. Now maybe, or I think a large percentage of what happened was, guess what? AJ believed his floppy strategy was going to be enough to KO Usyk. Why? Look at the Pulev fight. AJ went into that fight with no ambition. He thought that his floppy strategy would be enough to get the KO. And unfortunately, he got the KO. So in his mind, he thinks, well, I'll just go in there and the KO happens. AJ believed, and the thing is, it's not even just AJ. I've seen the fans saying it. I said to everyone after the Pulev fight, that performance was crap. There was no strategy there. There was no form. It was no planning. He didn't plan for the KO. He just got lucky because the man's a million years old. I had people telling me, no, YB, you don't know boxing. I'm high IQ. Or, sorry, YB, that's a high IQ performance. You don't understand. He dissected Pulev. He did this, he did that. So the fact I had fans gassing me up. I know what was going on in the camp. They believed it too. They thought that they really dissected Pulev. They thought they were dissecting a man who weren't throwing no punches. I mean, people criticised Tyson Fury's performance for the last few rounds against Wilder. The fact that Wilder was useless, but Wilder was still somewhat dangerous. Pulev was completely useless. And you took 10 rounds with him. I told you, in fact, I said it at the time. If I was in AJ's camp for that fight, and that was a performance, I'd sack myself. Because how are you taking what I call, or what I used to call, a hybrid between Mike Tyson and Lennox Lewis? Because I believe it. I believe at AJ's best, AJ trained the right way with the right mentality, would be a hybrid between Lennox Lewis and Mike Tyson. And to an extent, I still stand behind that. Obviously, every day that goes by, every crap performance that goes by, well, tell a lie, this is the last one now. If he gets beat by Usyk, then he finished. He ain't gonna be nothing. He can be known as the biggest hype job, the biggest waste of space. Yeah? But anyway, the point is, we're gonna find out if he's got the mentality or not. But in terms of trainer, bring Sugar Hill in, because Sugar Hill's got a proven record. If you can't do Shane, do Sugar Hill. But he ain't gonna do neither. That's what he ain't gonna do neither. Yeah? That's why I do these videos just for the sake of doing them. He ain't gonna get in your head, people. He ain't going nowhere. At best, he's gonna bring in another cuck like Ronnie Shields. And why is Ronnie Shields a cuck? Well, Ronnie Shields is a cuck because, much like Rob McCrappen, Ronnie Shields has already said he's happy to work with a whole bunch of people. Ronnie Shields is just there for the check. Yeah? He's already said, yeah, I'll work with Fernando Alonso, I'll work with Rob McCrappen, so what's going to change? Nothing. Because on the night, Rob McCrappen is still going to be head trainer, and AJ isn't good enough. He's not good enough to have 3 different trainers and take the best from each of them, if that makes sense. AJ is not high IQ enough to say, okay, I've got 3 trainers, let me absorb the best from both. He needs to have the YB in there, cooking his head 24/7. For 6 months. That's what he needs. This whole fishy, you know what I'm saying? Like, for example, well, yeah, he's proven it. He can't do that. Because if AJ could take the best from different sources, he would have done that. Instead, AJ's kind of fell or deteriorated to the worst of the 3. AJ's taken the worst bits of Rob McCrappen, yeah, the worst bits of Jobber Clayton, the worst bits of Fernando Alonso, and put it all together into the worst possible outcome. So I'm afraid to say, what's the point adding Ronnie Shields to end up taking the worst from him as well? He needs to commit, like Chen McGuigan says, he needs to commit to one person. Or to one team, sorry. One team. Sugar Hill's team. Shane McGuigan's team. Commit to it. Go all in. That's what you need. You need someone. This isn't a case of nicking a few ideas. You need a full brain reprogramming, intensive, Cus D'Amato style. Yeah, Mike Tyson said, Cus D'Amato worked my brain into such a fashion that if he told me to jump, I'd jump. If he told me to bite, I'd bite. Yeah, that's where you need to be. In that kind of mindset. Totally dialed in. And you can't get that flying back and forth from the UK and US. You can't get that dipping in and dipping out with 5 different trainers and waiting for Rob to come back from Lithuania to get some... Wow, Messi. Has being Messi not shown you anything, AJ? Being Messi, being bit here, bit there-y, has got you where you are now. Your performance is the definition of a bit here and a bit there. No passion, no direction, no focus. Messy and indecisive, which sums up your current training situation. And you know what? To add insult to injury, AJ exposed himself. AJ himself even said, "Oh yeah, Not only have I got Fernando Alonso, Rob McCracken and Jobber Clayton, I've also got Sean Murphy and John Oliver. What the fuck? He got 5-man deep. Oh, and then he's got another team around him, which I believe to be AKA Skins and them, man. Wow. You have got a 30-man team. And they're all training team as well. I've never heard of anything like it. Tyson Fury, one trainer. I mean, even Deontay Wilder. Yes, look, I mean, I have to respect Deontay Wilder because, yes, he brought in Malik Scott. But look at Jay Diaz. Jay Diaz is now a bottle holder. Yeah? And I respect Wilder because guess what? I've already said to AJ, if you was high IQ, apart from hiring the YB, you'd also, if you want to keep Rob around, do what Wilder did with Jay Diaz. Wilder, yeah, brought in Malik Scott. Malik Scott, I haven't even heard Jay Diaz speak once, have you? In his camp, did you hear Jay Diaz speak once? No. Do you know why? Because he was side-manned, and rightfully so. Wilder said, Jay Diaz, you've been here from the start. I'm happy to give you a few percent to be cucked. Just sit down somewhere and be quiet. And guess what? Jay Diaz, having no integrity, sat down somewhere and was quiet. And you can bet your bottom dollar, no integrity, Rob McCracken would do exactly the same thing. Because he ain't there to be me. I ain't doing that. Why? Because I have belief in myself and I have belief in what I'm doing. And if you ain't part of that, so be it. Take your coins. Yeah? Rob, he taking coins. He want the coins. He ain't interested in you performing the best to your best ability. He's made that clear. He could have already told you, AJ, I've got no skills. AJ, I've proven I suck. I've taken Lennox Lewis, Mike Tyson and turned him into a big floppy whopper. Yeah? Let me remove myself from the equation so you can carry on and succeed whilst I carry on ruining Team GB boxing, amateur boxing. That's what a man with integrity would have done. Instead, he keeps telling you, no, keep me in head trainer, keep me doing Team GB and give me all the coins. I want all the coins because I am your cuck daddy. That's what he told you. And so far you've proven you are his, you know what I mean? You're his bottom. Yeah? Rob McCracken has made a bottom out of AJ. You're his sub. You are listen, you are, what's the word? Dom, you got a dom and a sub. Submissive, yeah. AJ, you are submissive to Rob. Submissive, yeah? He tells you I'm going to Lithuania, and you sit there waiting for him like a big sub. It's embarrassing. 100%, I've heard of some certain kinkdons. Yeah? They do that where they say, listen, you sit in the cage, I'm going to work, and you sit there and wait for me to come back. And they sit there in the cage like a dog. That's not AJ, yeah? Because Rob McCracken told him, AJ, I'm going to Lithuania on other business. Not concerned with your career. I've got other stuff to do. You're going to sit in America and wait for me to get back and then fly back when I get back. And that's a cuck. That's kinky. That's what you call kinky cuck. 100%. Call me a liar. Is it not? AJ exposed himself. Yeah, well, Rob's going to Lithuania, so I'm going to wait in the USA like a cuck in a cage, essentially. Oops. Yeah? So anyway. Listen. Sugar Hill will do good for AJ. Because what we know is... ain't nothing going to be worse. That's what we do know. I guarantee you that. Not one person going to be worse for AJ. People, it makes me laugh. People say, why be? As if AJ is ever going to bring you in. What you mean, like, as if he's ever going to bring Fernando Alonso in? Jobber Clayton. But why be? You haven't got no resume. Where was Fernando Alonso's resume? Where was Jobber Clayton's resume? Where was Rob McCracken's resume? Because I'll tell you this for free. If my resume, I'll tell you this, let me tell you, man, right now. If I ever end up training fighters, and my best example is Carl Froch, you best believe I'm going to remove myself from any examples of being a great trainer. Let me get that clear for you, man, right now. And hold me to that. If I ever train a fighter, and Carl is the best example, you're in trouble there. Because Carl got what he got from natural abilities, not trained abilities. Someone like Andre Ward, you can argue, trained ability. Floyd Mayweather, trained ability. Because you've got actual skills that you aren't born with. Carl was born with a great heart, a great engine, and oomph. They're not things that you train. And to be honest, the fact that AJ has no cardio shows that the fact Carl had cardio wasn't because of training. It was because naturally he was gifted in them areas. Because if Rob McCracken was so good at training cardio, why is AJ blowing every fight? Oops. Yeah? I mean, yeah, AJ said, oh, Tyson Fury was blowing early. Well, Tyson Fury was putting effort in, AJ. You was blowing and not putting no effort in. What's that about? At least that man had an excuse to be tired. What was your big looking ass tired for? Sparring for 12 rounds. But yeah, the last thing I want to talk about is Sugar Hill says, in his pitch to train AJ, Sugar Hill says that back in the old days, fighters would go to other gyms. And I've got to be honest, I do have to give Alexander Usyk credit for this and that's why I say, Alexander Usyk, he may not be I don't believe he's all that, but I give him credit for being high IQ because, guess what? Alexander Usyk has gone to many people don't understand this. Alexander Usyk is in the last 10 years has been with about 20 trainers. He spends 6 months here, 6 months there. How and why? He does that to actually absorb information and move on. He's not clingy. He's not cucked. He doesn't have no daddy he has to run back to like AJ. He's his own man and he does his own thing. He takes the best and he moves on. Yeah? AJ can't do that. AJ, oh, I must have Fernando with me. I must have Rob McCracken as head trainer. And AJ can't take the best from each place anyway. But I respect Usyk because, like I said, he goes from source to source, absorbs the best info, and then moves on. Yeah? But not only that, it's the fact that, look at what Usyk's done. The man who's beaten you, that's how he learned, if that makes sense. Taking a piece of information, moving on. And then putting it all together. That's high IQ, being able to put all the best things together. AJ's not proven that. AJ's not taking the best of them, the best of the bunch, and put it all together. So I'm not sure what to tell you. And it's not necessarily a diss. The fact of the matter is, AJ needs to understand his learning style. His learning style is concentrated. Some people can take bits from here, takes bits from there. That's not AJ. AJ is the kind of fighter who needs Tony Sims only. Someone to get you locked into a style. Because don't forget, AJ for many years had a concentrated style. He wasn't doing bits here, bits there. He was concentrated, one way of fighting. People would criticise it, but guess what? It worked. That's how you need to do. Concentrate on one style and get it down to a T. Yeah? I believe, and I've always said that AJ should get that crusher style down pat. Get his defence tight. Shane McGuigan said exactly the same thing I've been saying. His elbows, his defence needs to be tight. It needs to be banging from a tight defence. It's not rocket science. It's basic but effective. That's what we need to focus on. Instead, he brings in fruity tooty 1970 wannabe looking asses. He's been sold this Instagram pad trainer. That's what he's been sold. Oh, but YB, I'm going to bring in Fernando Alonso, who's got this special way of doing things, and I'm going to bring Jobber Clayton in, who has this system of 1970s. AJ, whatever system he has, got your wig pushed back. Give me the same opportunity you give Jobber Clayton. How about that? I'll do it for free as well. Oops. What we know is it ain't going to be no worse than Jobber and Fernando. Or Sugar Hill. Proven track record of doing exactly what you want. Proven. Not one of them people you've got in your camp now has got anything proven in there. And to be honest, even these guys like Ronnie Shields and whatnot, they haven't got the 1-for-1 proven. So, Ronnie Shields, when was the last time he had a heavyweight? I don't know. Alvarez trainer, Andy Ruiz was pants. But then again, that other guy, Frank Sanchez, he was decent, so who knows? Who knows about that? Either way. Yeah, well, I'm hoping, people say, YB, why you return Curtis? And I'm hoping, saying these things, maybe some of it gets through. If I come on here and say, oh, well, AJ's super smart and I'm sure he'll make the best decision for him. And number one, That's everyone's been saying that already. Oh yeah, he's super smart, and I know he's gonna do the best for him. Do you? Because if AJ knew what to do, if AJ knew what was best for him, yeah, why would he have Fernando Alonso and Jobber Clayton and Rob McCracken in his camp? Oops. That there's game, set, and match. And it's okay not to be 200 IQ. We know statistically not everyone going to be 200 IQ, but when you got someone, the YB 200 IQ, yeah, I bet that's what I've been sent here to do. Let me do the thinking for you. How about that? You do the fighting, I'll do the thinking. Instead, that's what happens. This what happens when you got people who don't play their role. Your role is rock'em sock'em. The YB role to think. Put the two together. Instead, you try and be doing all the thinking. And now look how it played out. Bottom line, how did it play out when Mr. Rock'em Sock'em tried to think? Oops, got smoked. Yeah? Now, I'm sure people will say, YB, but he's made loads of money. And YB this, YB, he's got loads of belts. Not anymore, he ain't. And he won't have no more belts either if he keeps doing what he's doing. Too much thinking. And like I said, you ain't good at it. Usyk good at thinking. Floyd Mayweather good at thinking as far as boxing goes. You not good at thinking. Because if you was, you had all the advantages. The height, the speed, everything. And you blew it. Less thinking, more getting stuck in. That's what the doctor's ordered right now. But not only getting stuck in, because guess what? Rob McCracken's shown that he can't train you to get stuck in effectively. Because Rob McCracken don't have no training skills. That's why you went in there and got smoked against Ruiz in the first fight. Because you're sloppy. Because you got no skills. Because Rob didn't train you with no skills. Your defense, I've done videos on it. Your defense was leaky. Awful defense. Oh, man, I had goofy AJ fans. Oh, YB, he's got belts. YB, but he had this, he had that. How'd it working out for you now? How'd it working out? And it's funny, I got some goofies in my comment section. Oh, YB doesn't know nothing about boxing, but he's just cool to listen to. Listen, you was the same man's who was gassing about how great he was. How'd it working out now? How'd it working out? Where's them belts gone that you was talking about? Yeah, where they gone? Oops. And I can't blame you, man, because low IQ people, they don't know they're low IQ. All humans know is that they're also a human. And to be fair, some of them barely know that, but you know what I'm saying? I can't blame you, man. The fact people don't know, like, it's almost if you don't have a mirror, you can't see that you're butters. Yeah? If you ain't got no mirrors, no, you don't know you're butters, but same way with IQ. Dopey people, they still think they're 200 IQ. But unfortunately, they're dopey. Yeah? and nothing will change that fact. No amount of thinking you're smart will make up for the fact you're dopey. And you man's dopey. Yeah? And that's why you are where you are right now. That's why AJ is smoked. Because too many dopey people around him. Not reading between the lines. Wait there, we got a problem here. Wait there, AJ's flapping against a heavyweight in Andy Ruiz who's no good. Chris Arreola exposed what AJ should have done with Andy Ruiz. And by the way, need I say again, Nostradamus, why Nostradamus B told you, man, how it should have gone. I was the one saying AJ needs to be trained properly, go in there and smoke Ruiz's boots for him. Because guess what? Chris Arreola, 40-year-old, no good, went in there and showed you what should have happened. Chris Arreola put the guy down and didn't get put down himself. And it was the best Ruiz ever. Training under Eddie Reynoso. Oops. So if Chris Arreola can do that with Andy Ruiz, wow. Mr. Africanules, running around all backflapping looking ass. All flapping looking. It's embarrassing. I said that. I said, seeing how Chris Arreola exposed Andy Ruiz, Team AJ should be embarrassed right now. If I was in Team AJ, after that Chris Arreola performance, I would have had to release a statement. Yeah? After the events of tonight have unfolded, I've now realised we got serious problems in this camp. Because we ended up running away. AJ made Andy Ruiz look like Terminator. People were saying, oh yeah, Andy Ruiz like Mike Tyson, but he just got more weight on him. Seriously, people were comparing Andy Ruiz and Mike Tyson. Because that's how AJ made him look. Chris Arreola goes in there, and has anyone heard of Andy Ruiz since? Nope. Ain't no one heard about him. And that Chris Arreola fight had much anticipation, because people thought, wow, Andy Ruiz is going to go in there and just blow this guy out in a round or two, Mike Tyson style. And the fact that, again, if AJ had any IQ in his camp, they would have clocked onto them things. Wait there a minute. Why is Chris Arreola doing a better job with Andy Ruiz than we did in 2 fights? There's something wrong there. Instead, you and all the goofy fans, oh, YB, it's just amazing. That Ruiz 2 performance was top rated. That was the best performance I've ever seen any fighter ever. It sucked, that performance did. It's a sucky performance, and I can't lie, put my hands in the air. Did I shill after the fight? Yeah, I did, I shilled. I admit, hands in the air. I'm absorbing responsibility here. I shilled. Yeah? But I'm confessing now. I'm repenting. Now, anyway, I've waffled on for long enough, but the bottom line is, he should go with Sugar Hill. It's not going to hurt his career, at least for this next fight. And I believe the things Sugar Hill is saying make perfect sense. We've seen people like Usyk go from camp to camp. AJ don't need to do that. He needs to knuckle down now. You've learned what you can from Fernando Alonso. You've learned what you can from Jobber Clayton. You've learned what you can from Ron McCracken. Zone in on Sugar Hill and lock in for this next camp. After that, we can take it fight by fight. Yeah? Or after that, we can take it from there. But for this next fight, why not? Why not? Got nothing to lose at this point in time, I don't believe. Well, you got more to lose going with what you know doesn't work. You know it. Every single one of your last fights have been crap and underperformed. Pulev. Ruiz 1. Ruiz 2. Usyk 1. There isn't one great fight in there, I don't believe. There's not one fight where you've lived up to your performance. And what worries me is the fact that you've devolved to accepting it. Oh, that was a B performance, an A performance. A or B performance against Pulev. What's wrong with you? Since when do we accept this mediocrity? Oh, went 10 rounds with an old dude. I told you before, if I was in the camp, that's a 3-round fight. And any less, don't bother paying me. Because we're going to train you for 3 rounds against Pulev. He's too old. He's too useless. Yeah? Big heavyweight looking ass. And Sugar Hill, he got the mentality. Sugar Hill's already said, we go for knockouts. And I respect that. Because he don't lie. It's knockouts first, everything else later. How many trainers have that mentality? None today. Or very few. There's some trainers who talk about it, but very few who implement it. Sugar Hill, he implement it. That's what you need for your physiology. You need a KO only approach. Similar to Customato, similar to Emmanuel Stewart. It's KO. When was the last time you had a KO philosophy in your camp? Decades ago. Now the last thing I'll say is, Sugar Hill mentions about the big fight with Tyson Fury. Me, I can't even think about that, because it's miles away. But it's true. Ultimately, it's true. He ain't lying. We want to build that fight. But we can't get there with your current situation. And you don't seem to... And I think the problem is, because of the money, because you get paid either way, you're thinking, well, okay, I may get 100 mil if I got belts, or I may get 50 mil with no belts, but who cares? 50 or 100 mil is... Yeah, it's not... It's irrelevant, really, isn't it? 50 or 100, you're still making generational wealth either way. At that point, it's just a number. But it should be more than that to you. It should be about legacy. It should be about pride. It should be about fulfilling yourself. Self-actualization. And transcendence. Instead, you're caught up in trying to please everyone else. Oh, if Rob wants it, you can have it. And oh, I want to prove the fans wrong. Weird. Asking Clifton Mitchell about advice. What's wrong with you? You're supposed to be a super champion. What are you so nervous for? And the only thing I can conclude is the fact that it's your team influence, because AJ was never that nervous. Go back and everyone who disagrees with what I'm saying, go back and watch AJ and Dillian White. Their gloves are off, and you tell me. Look at the poise and the confidence and the sureness and the assertion of that man in that gloves are off. You look at the guy now asking Clifton Mitchell for advice before the fight. It's night and day. So when you've got the same person, different, 5 years apart, that influence has come from somewhere. Now, who spends the most time? We know who. In fact, never mind that. Who's responsible for exercising your mind and getting you in the right mind frame? Your trainer. So bottom line, that's where the buck starts and that's where the buck stops. Only you can make this jump, AJ. Only you can pick the phone up. Only you can get into YB's DMs. Yeah? Only you can. If you don't want to go general butt naked, if you don't want to go general butt naked, don't go into Twitter. Don't go in DMs. Yeah? Don't bother. If you ain't prepared to go general butt naked on Alexander Usyk and march straight forward, you're right. Stay with Ron McCrappen. Don't bother jumping into YB's DMs, because there ain't nothing good for you over you. There ain't nothing good for you over here. The only thing over here on the YB side is general butt naked. We're going straight in. We're marching straight forward. No steps back. And we can tell Usyk, we can tell the fans, listen, if we take a step back in this fight, we've lost. Yeah? Never mind 12 rounds, never mind judges. If we take one step back, in our minds the fight's over, we've lost. We ain't going back. We're going straight forward. And we're standing there. And we can let him get his petty shots off. And then we can dig back. No steps back. That's what, never mind, stay humble, all that crap here. The narrative of this camp should be, the narrative of this fight should be, no steps back. Simple. Instead, you were some fruity team and some fruity dudes. And that's what it is.